Welcome to the Totally Awesome Outdoor Show, where I aim to tell you how to go tracking and spotting deer. Now this is in Britain. We're not talking British Columbia, Alaska, the wild woods of Maine in America. We're talking plain old English countryside. There are deer out there. Now a lot of town and city dwellers never even get the chance to see a deer in the wild. In fact, for some of them, the only deer they see is as roadkill on the side of the road, or if they're very unfortunate, sitting looking at them on a bonnet, boom, they've hit it with a car when they're going through woodlands, late evening, early morning through the night. So how about the excitement of hunting a deer? Now, hunting with a difference, this is the thing. Finding where they are, trying to narrow down the places they live at, and then tracking them, and even better, shooting them, but with a camera. Tell you what, it's pretty good fun. You get all the excitement of the hunting, the tracking, the stalking, trying to work things out where they might, where they actually might be, and you don't have to kill them, do you? Come on, I'll show you what I mean. Well, after walking along the road, I'm looking for any signs, just like this, scratching, digging, could have been a rabbit of course, right on the edge of the footpath. Now humans use that, so there's very likely going to be no deer along there in the daytime, because of people taking their dogs for a walk, walking through the woods. They're unlikely to be in that area, but you have to look for things like small watercourse here. They're going to come in there late afternoon, evening to drink. Swampy areas are really good because you've got some grass and a bit of cover there. I mean, if there's a deer through there, you barely see them unless they move. Remember, most of the time when you're walking along like this, they're going to see you, they're going to hear your footfall. I'll walk along the road because sometimes you can actually walk quieter than you can if you're walking through the bushes, because you're going to tread on twigs, you're going to snap the twigs, and look out for things like, yes, deer signs. As basic as it may seem, this tells you where they are. Keeping quiet is of paramount importance, and here, look, there, if you could just make it out, is a trek, a game trail going through into the woods, into the swampy area, and there you can see 2 hoof marks just there, and that shows you they've been heading that way, possibly during the same evening, maybe even early morning. Most people will walk past this, but it is actually a game trail, I know, for deer. Okay, here's a classic case, guys. This could be a muntjac deer. You can see the two little lines like this. I'll move this across right there, and he's going this way. That I would say is a fresh one, not very long ago I would think. Here we are again. Give you an idea. And here, trodden deeper. Don't forget to look over moss covered logs, because if they jump over those, sometimes they'll clip them and knock the moss off the top and tell you where they've been moving. Okay, now here's another one. That earth's been removed there by one scrambling up off the ditch. Deer are always going to like this thick vegetation cover, but they want to eat the best grass, which is on the edge of a field like this. So they're going to come out just along there on the left, on the margins. They're going to feel safe. Any predators come, they can get back into the woodland. You would think that deer wouldn't walk where humans have been, i.e. a drive, a bridleway, a footpath. Wrong. They will do. They still, like all creatures, want the easiest route from one food source to the next, or from water sources to the next. And along this bridleway up and down here, probably very quietly during the hours of darkness or dawn and dusk when there's no humans around, they will move and they'll travel, and there is the evidence, as you can see. And here again, all the way along, a deer has been travelling. He's not going to be out here in the middle of the day, but he's certainly going to be out here when that light level drops. Well, I'm walking along the perimeter of this field, And although I can hear traffic, vehicles way in the distance on the roads, it's still pretty quiet along here. There's no people around, there's no dogs running around. And there's another pointer towards finding deer. And I knew I was on the right track here. It's just along here. Well, I don't know what they call it. Years ago in India, where they used to do a lot of tiger shooting, I think they called it a machan, M-A-C-H-A-N, where they built a hide up in a tree, a platform, so that they could look down, because the tigers rarely look up. So if you wanted to shoot a tiger, which I don't, then obviously up there is safer as well to keep out of his way. They've done the same principle here. If you take a look, on the edge of the woods, just as I said earlier, just on the edge of the woods, they're going to be up there. I'm going to take a look up there if I can in a minute. And any deer that came out at dawn or dusk along here, they could shoot from up there for culling. Let's take a look up there. It's about, I don't know, 12, 15 feet up. And this is how the shooter, the sniper, would sit. Right up here, obviously, not as noisy as me talking with the camera equipment. But what a view he's got here, if you can see that. Up high, you've got the tree behind you. Here's a screen for your body outline, so there'd be no body outline, would you? There's a nice little green in here, where they would presumably come out from in the woods here, across there, because that's bright green, so that's a nice grass there. And then over the back there, over that way, I would expect if I was up here with a decent rifle and a scope, guys, you wouldn't even need a scope for this, just in the edge there, they're going to come around the edge here. If you can just see the rough grasses in the middle, and there's a sort of worn greener area of a band of about 12 feet out there, that's where those deer, I would guess, are going to come out. Even when this leaf's up, and there's a lot of leaves, late autumn, early spring, something like that. I don't know what the shooting season is, to be honest, over in here in Britain. But you'd be really screened in here. You can send a bullet straight through these gaps. I'm not sending any bullets out there. I'm trying to get stuff come back this way, images for you, and we're going to find a deer for you. I'm certainly giving you some pointers and some tips as best I can. Going to move on now, guys, because the weather's on the change. I'm going to work my way through this deep wood here. You've seen the sign on the road down there, so we know that's a crossing point. I'm another half a mile or so, you know, up from the road. Here's another pointer. They definitely cull them, they shoot them here, presumably to keep the animal numbers down, or for meat, for venison. So we're in a good spot, and there's some boggy, water-soaked ground, swampy type area in the back there, so it's all fitting together. It's the middle of the day. I doubt I'm going to see anything, but they might be hunkered down, and I might just spook something that at least you can get to see something. British deer. Walking through woodland like this, even around water, is very, very difficult. You have to be so careful because they have excellent hearing and they can spot you a mile away. Here we go, guys. Big deer this time. Big mark in there. 2 footprints all the way up. Obviously, across this stream. Boot marks, so humans have been here. I guess guys hunting deer, or maybe just rough shooting. Oh, here's another clue. Here we go, people.
That tells you the game is good around here. Presumably they're waiting for ducks. That is, it's got 4 on it. I don't know what that is. Steel game 4, so that could be duck ones. Be nice if they picked them up, didn't leave them laying around. There's another one. Man, they're everywhere. All here. Oh, here's Armageddon here. Look at this lot, people. Well, if they didn't kill something with this lot, they should have gone to Specsavers. Ridiculous. Pheasants they're after. I guess that's like 35 grain there, I don't know. Pick your litter up, guys, even if you're shooting. It's plastic, it won't biodegrade. The only thing I'm shooting with is a camera. They're waiting for ducks to come in here, I guess. Well guys, I've been right through that swampy area, but seeing the number of boot marks there and seeing that huge amount of shotgun cases, I just don't know why they didn't pick them up. They're plastic, they won't biodegrade. They're standing there, pick them up, put them in your pocket or bag and take them home. I think there's been a lot of human activity in that area shooting for the ducks. It's going to put the deer off, they're not stupid. I mean, to be honest, the fact that I'm even talking to you on the camera, they can hear that. There's a school about a mile away and they let the kids out to play, little toddlers. I can hear them almost a mile away, you know, high pitch, they carry on the wind. So if I can hear that with human hearing, you can imagine what the deer can hear. They're long gone. But I'm going to get in the car. I'm determined to try and get a shot of some British deer. Drive down the New Forest area is a good area. On the fringes of it, if you go around the edges of the New Forest, I'm going to try and get down there for late afternoon, because I know as a fisherman that's the time, and if you're hunting that is the time to be out, dawn and dusk. That's when stuff's going to come out. Middle of the day you're going to be really lucky. But you can see plenty of deer activity here. Although people might walk around, they don't look for the signs. They don't realise what wildlife is really around. The downside here is, when I first moved to this area, maybe 6 years ago, it was a lot of shooting went on and they had what they call cover crops. They put a lot of maize in and it was brilliant. Within the first week of moving in, I walked around with my daughter and we counted 14 deer on a walk of about a mile and a half. Now, they've gone because they got sheep up with electric fence. So that's confining the wildlife even more. And of course, the fact that they don't have cover crops for shooting, that means a lot of other wildlife, a lot of owls, a lot of pheasants, they're all gone. There's nothing, it's just grazed mud land, grazed beyond belief. So I'm going to try and have to go deeper and deeper into a forested area, see if I can maybe get a shot or two for you. We won't give up yet. There we go guys, more evidence. More evidence. That's a really old one, it's rusted at the base. I'll pick that up on the way back. Well people, there's evidence all the way around here. I just found another lake in there, in the woods, little small pool or pond. Didn't even know existed, to be honest. Lots of activity in here. Maybe they bed down here for night. There's 2 or 3 tracks coming in there. There's more than one deer around, but noise with the camera, talking like this, probably won't get a shot. I'm still looking though, but a lot of activity, a lot of markings, and fresh where they've turned the leaves over. You can see, I would say this is either last night or this morning's trail. Well, I'm down here in the deepest of the New Forest in Hampshire. Some of the places I used to go trying to spot deer, and you can see the vegetation here. Although you can see the deer through there, don't forget they can see and hear you way before you can see and hear them. So I'm just going to work my way through and just see if I can spot something, but I'm way more confident down here. Much bigger forest area. Whoa. Notice the giveaway of the wood pigeons. That means they heard me talking, moving, and they've told every deer for about 800 yards there's a human here. Oh dear, are we going to get lucky?
It was in 1089 when William the Conqueror established the New Forest as a royal hunting forest. The first fox hunt was dated as far back as 1675, and it's one of the few places in England where that landscape has remained unchanged. The species of deer, there's fallow deer, roe, red and seekers. There's also the Mountjack, which is a tiny dog-sized deer, one of the smallest of the species. The deer herd together and they're rarely alone. And one of the last deer counts in the forest put the roe deer at 365, along with many other animals like horses, cattle and pigs that are allowed to graze there under commoners' rights. These horses, for instance, are as wild as any Mustang you're going to find out on the plains of Wyoming. If you tried to feed them, and you shouldn't, in the wild, every chance you might get kicked by them. They are still truly the wild New Forest ponies. In the 17th century, there were supposed to be around 7,500 fallow deer. Now this is now down to 1,300. And the New Forest is one of the largest unenclosed areas in the Forest of England. It covers 219 square miles with a wide variety of heathland, woodland, wetland and grassland. And just look at the size of this huge tree. Possibly, I don't know, 150, 200 feet high. This is not British Columbia, it's not Alaska, it's a massive pine forest within the confines of the New Forest itself.
Okay, I've come right through the woods. We're down here in the New Forest, but it's much more open here. Sounds daft being a forest because obviously there's plenty of trees around, but it's not like that brush area that I was in before where it's very close. That way I can get to them and actually have a chance of them. Here it's much more open. I'm going to get them in the distance. Now I know I've seen something, a shape up on the top of the hill here, up on the slope. Ideal for photographing, but I'm going to use this big giant tree here. I think it's a beech tree for a screen. Go up behind it. I'm going to try and put my tripod together, and I may have enough zoom on the camera to get you in. At least you'll be able to see it, what a deer looks like, and hopefully he won't spook.
And there it was in the distance. Not one deer, 2 deer, 3 deer, just again on the edge of the, well, just by the woodland where it breaks into the open grass. They like the comfort of being underneath the trees, in the scrubland, in the bushes, in the middle of the day. And this is late afternoon. I'm looking around for others. Very, very difficult to see them once they're within that thick scrubland there. You generally get the best spotting chance is if you can track them down, find their tracks, follow them, and look for, at distance, the deer, and then move in and see if you can get as close as you can. Obviously, if you're hunting with a rifle and they're not allowed it, you have no trouble shooting these even without telescopic sight. I like shooting them with a camera, just getting in as close as I can. I'm on full zoom here, so it's very dark underneath these trees. That's where they like to get, on the edge of any fresh grass, but with sanctuary towards escape. I mean, it's all part of the predator system. Is, you know, that deer, although I'm probably 400 yards away, 300 yards away, he's looking straight down the lens at me. He knows I'm there. Fortunately, he didn't spook, and at last I got to get a picture for you of one. Use any screening you can, trees, anything to block your body outline from them. It's lateral movement that spooks them. I can walk straight towards a deer, slowly, providing I don't crack any sticks, but if I move from side to side, that's when they're discerning that movement as a possible threat. And over here, way in the distance, I'm using this tree. I just put the camera through the crack. I can just see around those trees. I'm looking on the edge of this field there, where all the leaves break down to the grass on the edge. And yes, indeedy, way in the distance, I can see, well, you'll see it when I zoom in slowly, there's some deer just grazing in this field on the other side of that deer fence. And what a sight to behold. Lovely, beautiful markings on this one. Just great to get out, track them down, see where you can get some pictures of them, go back home and enjoy the pictures and enjoy that day out.
Well, there you go. We got lucky in the end. Now listen, anybody can go out. This is target shooting with a camera. You don't need any bullets. Shoot them if you want, if the laws allow. If you want to eat them, I don't have a problem with that at all. But it's still nice to go out. I'm still doing the same thing as ordinary hunters, trying to track them, trying to stalk them, trying to find out where they are and trying to shoot them, but with the camera. Don't forget to keep watching the totally awesome outdoor show.
Well, although I was pleased to get you those pictures of the deer, and in fact, that stalking, that tracking, that looking, trying to work out where those deer might be, that's half the fun of it. And you're out in the open air, in the countryside, you're enjoying it anyway, and you don't realise it, but you're actually honing your own hunting skills by looking and learning for these signs. So when the supermarkets close, and one day there will be no food, you will be one step closer to surviving because you know a little bit, just a little bit, about tracking, stalking, looking for where deer might be. But hang on the way home, can you believe it? We're going back through the dark forest, it's just getting dusk. My daughter spots a stag just about 30 yards through the wood, and as we're going along about 40 miles an hour, 30, 40 miles an hour, she must have just looked and got lucky. Stopped the car, got the camera out, very, very low light conditions, but wait, just wait until you see this animal, an immense English stag. What a privilege to see it.
Because he's staring at me.
I can't see him.
Just go really, really slowly.
Don't move, don't move.
Just... He's there, can you see him?
No.
There's a car coming. Just go.
Where is he now?
Keep coming towards me. There he is, he's coming up. Just keep going, keep going. There, right there. Through those trees.
Oh, there's his head.
You got him?
I don't know what I'm getting so dark. Man, that's a rack, isn't it? Look at that.
Can you see him moving?
You're an animal.
Oh, he's massive.
Big animal. It's too far away, it's too dark. That's what I'm talking about, people. Absolutely magnificent deer with a huge rack on it. Look at that animal. Oh my God, there's two of them. There's a pair. Just look here. This is where they walked. Big animals, big steps, big gaps between the feet. Oh, there he is, the other side of the tree. He's just the other side of the tree. Don't know if I'm going to get a better shot. No. There they are. That, folks, was well worth coming out. My daughter saw it. We're just driving the car for me. Right in the woods. How lucky. I've no idea if it's going to come out. Let's get back to the edit suite and see what we got. A pair of big stags with massive antlers. Probably the biggest I've ever seen.
Well, that just goes to show you need a little bit of luck whether you're hunting out there with a rifle or you're hunting with a camera. You still need that bit of luck to get a superb shot of not one but two big nice wild deer stags out there. Well, that was an honour. But listen, here's something of a dilemma. I live on the edge of the countryside, and about, say, 6 years ago, my wife was walking the dog when we had him. 3 times a day we used to walk the dog, 7 days a week, the same place, varied a little bit, out on the footpath, and we were in deer territory, shooting territory. Well, one morning she came in, apoplectic. She'd seen a deer. It was dead. Well, nothing different about that, is there? Yes, this one had been almost totally destroyed, totally eaten body-wise. They'd left the neck, left the head. Now, years ago over here, we used to get rumours of what was called the Surrey puma. Now, when I researched this on the internet, I found the Surrey puma was mostly spotted in an area, wait for this, not more than 3 or 4 miles from where I am. Honestly, that's the truth. I looked it up and researched it. What creature had killed, taken and eaten this deer, left the head and the neck for some reason? I don't understand it. It wasn't there the night before. It was out on the woods, on the edge of the woods where it comes on the grassland on the track. What had eaten it? I don't know. Was it the Surrey puma? Was it badgers? Had it died of old age? And a load of badgers, which they tell me do actually eat meat as well, chewed it up? I don't know, guys. You tell me what your opinion is. I just know it wasn't there the night before, and it was there early morning the next day. I want to know what killed it, and more important, what ate it, because I'm the one with my wife that walks out there late evening. Uh-oh, it's another awesome deer story.